There's a lot going on over at Mattel Creations, and I just need to put my 2 cents into the mix for you guys. So we're gonna get into it. Look at all these different dolls that are popping up on the website. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. First, let's start at the top. This one really caught my eye. This is the Barbie Tribute to Fashion Barbie doll number 2, designed by Suim Yao. Like, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. What is there to say? The part that really got me with this one is I was looking at the pictures and I was like, what face sculpt is this? I thought it was a new sculpt, but apparently this is the Lena sculpt that was first premiered with the Barbie Looks collection. What the heck? Y'all, I don't even know what to say. This face is truly versatile. She does not look like Lena at all. I can't even tell. That's pretty dope. The hairstyle, can we talk about it? This oldies kind of hairstyle that the doll has going. I'm sure she's gel-tastic, but I'm saying though, it's very beautiful. This doll reminds me a little bit of the Carlisle Nuera's design of the Harlem Theater dolls, the Claudette face sculpt from that line. Her hairstyle was something similar to this, I think, and it kind of reminds me of like a doll that would go in with that collection. Look at all the beautiful tassels on the dress. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's a lot to like swallow. Timeless glamour, I would definitely agree. So this doll is supposed to be reminiscent of like the 20s look, and I think it definitely does the job. There's so much like detail that has gone into this dress. The furry cape that she's got on. She's got jewelry. Yo, this doll is bomb. But the problem, okay, there's a problem. 2 things. One is the price. 110 mother effing dollars. Like, what are we thinking, Mattel? Would y'all please stop it with these exorbitant prices? Oh my gosh. And the other problem is that she's got a stiff body because she's a model muse. Of course, for a doll like this, it's very like collectible. Most people don't care about the body being a model muse. In fact, I think a lot of people prefer that. But I'm just speaking for myself because I love me some joints. Even if they're just basic joints, I'd prefer to have the joints. And I know that the temptation to rebody her will be very strong if I got this doll. So she would never stay on this body, and therefore question mark whether or not I could reuse this outfit on her. This is the type of hairstyle that I feel like I would just leave the doll alone like this, even though it might be gel-tastic, because it's just so pretty and hard to duplicate. So, ooh, dilemma. But, I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want from Barbie with a doll like this? She is immaculate. I envy already in advance all of you who are going to add this doll to your collection. I already know she's going to end up on my wish list, and it will be a far day from the release date when I can add this doll to my collection. Not because I don't have the 110 to spend on her, but it's mostly because I have to justify it in my mind. I'd be so in love with the doll that I can't afford to miss the doll to justify spending this type of money on a doll that's stiff, and I'm literally only getting her for her head and her clothes. Is her face and her clothes worth 110? If I had no other Lena dolls in my collection, I might cave and say yes. But I do have Lena's, so I just can't justify it with this one. The side glance though, like the side glance is freaking everything with her. The eye shape, she's just gorgeous, y'all. Gorgeous. So congratulations in advance to anybody who is pre-ordering her or is planning to get this doll. It says she ships around November. So I hope to see some reviews of this doll from you guys who do get her. But I mean, like, what? She's just everything. Oh my goodness. I really hope Mattel doesn't mess up and get a bunch of like wonky eyes out there, because that would suck to spend 110 on a doll you cannot buy in a store and her eyes be jacked up. Like, what in the world? Anyways, what do you guys think about this doll? Leave it in the comment section. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, a few other things I'm noticing here. We've got the Barbie movie dolls. We've got, obviously, the Barbie character in a different outfit, and the Ken character in this totally different outfit than what we've been seeing. Both of them are articulated. To be honest, I don't think either one of them is something to write home about, and $54 for these dolls is like, are you joking me, mate? But what I do love about this particular one, thank you, Lord, is that she does have the Margot Robbie sculpt likeness. She's got her face, but she doesn't have an open tooth smile. And honestly, I like this one so much better than the one where you can see her teeth showing. So I'm hoping that the price for this doll will come on down. Maybe even on another website other than Mattel Creations, I could find this doll for a little bit cheaper down the line when she's not so new. This outfit, I can't say I'm feeling it all that much, to be honest. I don't like the shape of the skirt. But I mean, these are supposed to be duplicating the looks from the movie, so it is what it is. And also, what's up with this hat? The hat almost looks like it's made of cloth here. Is it? Or is that molded plastic to look like cloth? I don't know. But if that is cloth, how dope would that be? But yeah, overall, because she has joints and a very unique head sculpt, I think this doll is worth getting, but not for $50. No, 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 no. I know that price will come down, so I'm just going to wait that one out. As far as Ken is concerned, this outfit is pretty cool. Wait, hold on. Does he come with skates and shoes? Oh, stop playing with me. He comes with a pair of sneakers and his classic inline skates. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't expect that. All right, you trying to surprise me over here. But I still would not spend $54 on this doll. You can get the exact same doll with a different outfit for like $15 to $19. Check my product links if I can find them for you. I'll link them for you. But yeah, he just is wearing a different outfit. So I already have two of these guys. I don't really need another one. I'm not crying for this outfit or even the skates, but I'm saying if you don't have either, then this might be a cool version to have in your collection. But I don't think it's necessary to have multiples of this doll in your collection like that. It's really not that serious. All the dolls that have this rooted hair and this Ryan Gosling face, they're all the same doll, same body, same skin tone. There's really no variance in any of them except for the clothing that they come with. So it's kind of like, which outfit do you prefer if you could only have one, right? But that's just my opinion. I mean, who cares if you have 20 of the same doll in your collection? That's not my problem. Anyways, let's move on to the other thing I saw, which is this doll, Mademoiselle President. Okay, I was shocked to see that they have this Issa Rae face sculpt specifically for her, and the level of articulation is a little stepped up with her because they gave her the superhero body, which is partially made to move. So she does have made to move joints in the elbow and the knee, but not the rest of the body that you see with a classic made to move, which is fine. I was shocked. Now, off the rip, yes, you're going to hear me say this because that's just how I feel about it. I don't like this mouth where she's got all her teeth in them showing from the front to the way back. Too much, like, it's too much. I really don't like dolls that have huge grins with lots of teeth. And this is like next level grin. Like if I use my teeth extraction method with this doll, yeah, it would be severe trying to get her mouth to close. It's probably possible, but still, she'd just be like having this huge ass grin on her face. And it's like, what are you looking at? Why are you so extra happy looking? I don't understand. But anyway, the face sculpt does look like Issa Rae. So I think the likeness is totally on point. And I'm loving the outfit. I like the way the doll comes. Like, for example, her hairstyle. This hair texture is one of my favorite curly textures that Mattel makes rarely on dolls. I probably have like 2 dolls in my whole collection from Mattel with this curl pattern. And it's so bomb. It stays so like perfectly, especially when it's long like this. There's so many different styles you can do with it. Of course, you'd never want to brush this hairstyle because if you brush those curls, they're going to get jacked up. But as is, they're so beautiful. I have dolls that have this hair texture and I've had them for years on display and the hair has not messed up. It's not tangled. It's very, very nice. So to have this hair texture on this doll, I think is extremely cool. Her outfit, I'm not a big fan of sequins, but I do like that the outfit is a neutral color and you can break this outfit up, including all the accessories, mix match with whatever the heck you got in your doll's wardrobe, and you can use these pieces over and over and over again. So I am not complaining about that. And look at these little details. Her fingernails and her toenails is painted. Yes, sir. And the shoe mold looks very unique. I haven't seen that shoe mold anywhere. I don't know. But if they've used this shoe mold before, then it's not one we're seeing very often, so I like that. There's more pluses for this doll than there are negatives. Like, if I'm gonna spend $54 on a doll from this line, honestly, I'd prefer to spend it on this doll than the other two. Do you know what I mean? So this one is, I'm sorry, it's $1 more. Oops, it's $55. But whatever the case is, I think she's a great pick. Designer is listed as Carlisle New Era for her, and that's no surprise to me. I know a lot of people think Carlisle New Era is not that great of a designer, but for me, I think it's hit or miss. Some stuff he makes I love, like I freaking love, and when I realize he's designed it, I'm not shocked. But then some stuff I'd be like, Carlisle, what was you doing? What was you doing this day? You must have needed a nap. They're working you too hard over there. I think this one was a win except for that open smile. Goodness gracious, if only they had closed her mouth. Oh well. But yeah, the three of these dolls look good together. And then I also noticed that they've got these little mini dolls. Let me check out the mini dolls right quick. Oh, geez. Mini dolls are also $55 whopping dollars. Hiya. And they've got 4 of the characters from the movie in mini versions, which I think are adorable. Love the little mini versions of their costumes on the dolls. The only thing that I wish that they would upgrade with these dolls truly is the lack of mobility in the joints. I just want them to be able to sit in a chair without their feet just sticking out in midair. Like, can we not do that? Oh, gosh. Anyways, but you get 4 for the price of one of the adult dolls, and the characters that they chose are all very cute. I am assuming all of these guys have the exact same head mold. They all look the same to me, but my vision is a little impaired right now, so I could be wrong. Correct me if you guys don't agree with me in the comment section. And I think this is a cute set to have, just to sit on your shelf. Even if you're not going to actively play with them, I think they're great display pieces. If I could be bothered, if I cared about the characters they represented, I mean, I might get a set like this. But if you need some variety in smaller dolls, just to add to your collection, or if you like doing like photo stories or filming your dolls, this might be a great addition with some really versatile clothing that don't look like little baby clothes. And you could play around with these dolls. You know, this is not something we really see as average collectors. We don't really see these kinds of doll packs being put out there. So just for the memory of, you know, this era, the movie commemorating all of that, years down the line, I could see this set going for a lot more than what they're being sold for right now. All right, let's talk about these girls. I meant to do a whole separate video talking about them, but I never got around to it. The Clueless dolls, which there was so much hype around when people were like talking about them, when it was just a rumor that the dolls were going to be released this year. And to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed by what I'm seeing with these dolls. I didn't expect this, especially for the price point of $60 US. I mean, bruh, that's not a little bit of money. Like, what? My main issue with these dolls is that they didn't use the face sculpt likenesses of the actors. And of course, I know you have to have licensing and all of this nonsense to use their likenesses, so they say. I just was like, huh? Like, the dolls don't really look like the characters from the movie. And I appreciate the quality of what I think has gone into these outfits. You know, you're getting multiple pieces, lots of layers. They're pretty accurate to what the characters would look like in the movies. But I mean, honestly, I would have preferred to have Cher character's actual face. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I thought that it was going to look like the actual actresses, but no, they used Teen Skipper for this one that's supposed to be Cher. And let's take a look at Dion. And for Dion, they used the open mouth Brooklyn sculpt. I don't get it. Why is Mattel so obsessed with using Brooklyn as like the go-to face for all the black collectible dolls right now? I just don't understand it. Brooklyn's face is not a collectible face. I'm sorry. She's a very playline face. Maybe it's just me, but I mean, like, this looks like they just slapped a fashionista's face on to this doll and said, here's Dion, $60. I just can't. Like, she don't even look anything like the actress, I don't get it. Whatever. But maybe it's just me. I'm just being nitpicky, right? Overall, I do like the styling of the dolls. I like that they have joints. I like that their clothes are like layered so you can kind of pull it apart and mix match it with other things if you don't like to keep your dolls as is like I do. And I also like that this one has a piercing. She's got a whole nose ring, which I'm assuming that it's a molded on piece, but we haven't really seen that from Mattel, so that's kind of cool and edgy, and I like that they added that little detail like that. But I mean, Brooklyn though. I'm just so stuck on the fact that they used these head sculpts for the dolls. Like, bruh, how amazing would it have been if they had used the likeness of the actual actress Stacey Dash for Dion's character? She's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, she's really pretty. And especially back here when she was playing this role, she was a dime piece. Why we can't have her face in the collection? I'm just saying. I'm trying to collect me some new faces. Thank you. So I'm a little disappointed about that. Now, Teen Skipper, that is an old school head sculpt. It's not new. And we don't really see Teen Skipper used a lot. So I feel like it's a little refreshing to have that face sculpt being used here. But still, I just wish they would have tried to make the faces look more like the actresses. It's just such a shame. But I don't know. They probably would have gave them goofy, big, wide smiles anyways. So if they had used the likeness of the actors, I probably would have complained about that part. But I don't know. It's just such a missed opportunity to me. Whatever. They tried. Hopefully that hat will stay on her head, unlike that fashionistas I was reviewing in my last video, whose cowboy hat kept falling off. Okay, next we definitely have to go over these holiday dolls, which I feel like is like the most variety we've gotten with holiday dolls this season. As you can see here, we've got 5 different characters for the females and 4 different characters for the boys. The females, we're looking at head sculpts like Millie, of course, because Millie is always in every stupid collection. Like, we need another one. Anyways, we've got a Midge slash Diva head sculpt, which is very rarely used in modern dolls. And she's a redhead with freckles, so that's a nice little variety for us. We've got, again, Brooklyn. Goodness gracious, why? With the open tooth smile. Her hair, I think, is probably my favorite texture of all of the dolls here. But, like, why? Why Brooklyn? She's so goofy. Like, she's just so... Bro, she to me, Brooklyn seems like she's just not serious enough looking for a collectible doll. Like, she looks like she's made for children to play with. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's why I'm like, why is she always in these lineups with the collectible girls? Like, please stop. Or at least close her mouth at least. Like, bro. Goofy Brooklyn. So next we have this burgundy tone in the hair for this sculpt, which is Pazette. I don't know why, but for some reason recently, I have been having the hardest time recognizing Pazette sculpts off the rip. I keep mixing up Pazette with, who is the other face sculpt? Kim, for some reason. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not interacting with enough Pazette sculpts to, like, quickly recognize it. So maybe I need to revisit my previous sculpt study video where I talk about the features of this face sculpt. But yeah, definitely a Pazette sculpt here. And then we've got also Taya, which is one of the newer head sculpts that we've been introduced to recently with the Fashionistas line, and also with a collectible doll by Carlisle Nuera. So I'm not sure if this version of Taya is actually the collectible version, because that version's head size is actually smaller than the Fashionistas version of the doll. Much smaller. So I'm wondering which version they used for her. I'm hoping that they did use that smaller head size for her, just because, you know, I want it to feel different than a Playline doll. Like, I'm not about to spend $50 on a doll who I only want for her head, and then it's like you could have spent $10 on a fashionista for this sculpt. You know what I'm saying? But unlike the Fashionistas doll, I'm hoping that these dolls don't have pixelation in the face. So there's that plus. And also, like I said, if her head is smaller, then it would make more sense for, you know, her to end up on a holiday doll that's collectible. Now, as far as the clothing is concerned, I'm also into these color palettes with the gold and the creamy kind of colors. I like that a lot. I like that the shoe mold is very different than anything we've seen before. I don't know if I just woke up one day and said, I want to put this dress on somebody. I at least have some colors I can work with. So there's that. I would have preferred for their earrings to be a little bit more metallic, but it is what it is. Yeah, but the Taya sculpt is my favorite out of all of these. And then the next one would probably be Midge, who looks super pale. Like, whoa. But I don't have a Taya in this skin tone, so I think it would be interesting to add that skin tone to the collection. And the boys. Everybody has been hype about these boys, y'all. Like, what are we missing, right? The boys, it looks like we've got 4 different guys. And we're going to take a closer look at each of them. So doll number 1 is this guy here. I think his sculpt name is Brandon, but for some reason the sculpt is listed here as Signature Looks Ken. Why? I don't know. Maybe Brandon is a nickname for him, but whatever the case is, Mattel didn't want to put a name for him, so there's that. This sculpt is so popular, he's already sold out on this website. I think the popularity comes from, we don't really get a lot of Asian male face sculpts that are versatile like this, especially ones that don't have goofy smiles. So I can see this one being very popular, and he was a part of the Barbie Looks line for this face sculpt, and also we saw this sculpt used for the Barbie movie, Asian Ken guy. And that one sold out so fast too. So if you're interested in this one, I would say check out my product links. I'll try to link if I can find them anywhere for you guys. And just look around on the internet because he's not sold out everywhere, just on Mattel Creations website. Honestly, I know I'm showing you guys these dolls on Mattel Creations website, but if they're not exclusives to Mattel Creations, I never recommend that people buy dolls from Mattel because they are a hassle to deal with. And their quality control is bad, and their return policy is so aggravating. Like, it's just headache after headache after headache if you go through Mattel when you have the option of going through other retailers. That sounds so bad, and me saying this is going to guarantee that I am never sponsored by Mattel, but I don't care because I'm not about to sit here and lie to people. This is my experience and a lot of other people's dealing with Mattel, and they charge you for shipping. So if you don't want to go through that, just don't even bother with Mattel, okay? Go somewhere else to buy your dolls. Now, this guy right here, again, face sculpt, we're seeing that the name of the sculpt is listed as Fashionista Ken, which I don't think is the sculpt's actual name. Honestly, I don't think the sculpt has a name just yet, but if you're using him for a collectible doll, like, can y'all just name him, please? Give us something, okay? If you're going to bother to use this head mold, because it's just so generic. But this is the same sculpt that we've seen on a Fashionistas Ken, who looks almost exactly like this, even the hairstyle. Because this guy looks exactly like the Fashionistas doll, if you already have him in your collection, I would say you don't really need a $30 version of that doll because he's almost exactly the same. But if you don't have this sculpt already, I would say first go look online to see if somebody's selling this sculpt for a cheaper price than $30. If you can't, then I guess that this is a good time to add him to your collection. I mean, he's got that stiffy body, just like a fashionista. I know his body type is a model muse for a Ken doll, so it's a little bit more like muscular, a little bit more toned, prettier body, I guess, than a fashionista's Ken. The stiffness is the same, and we can't see his toned body under these clothes anyway, so like, who cares? As far as the outfits are concerned, I think they did a pretty good job with the clothes. It's just simple enough that they match the girls' dresses if you want to display them together. You can also use this outside of the holiday time frame, mix matching with other things in your wardrobe for your doll clothes. So I like that. I like the simplicity of how the clothes look. And like, I'm shocked that they're only $33 instead of the same $50 as the girls. I don't know why that is, but I'm not complaining about it. Let's look at the next boy in this line. Numero 3. Now this Ken, I really like him. This is the sculpt that they used for the Mermaid Ken. And the sculpt is listed as King Ocean Ken here. Again, I think they just gave him a generic name. It's not his official name for this head sculpt. This is a very unique face that we're not seeing a lot on Ken dolls that are just like playline kind of dolls. I think he's really handsome. I like the shape of his lips. And all 4 of the Kens that come in the series, if you haven't noticed by now, do have partially rooted hair. I think it's a nice compromise that they have some rooted hair, even if the whole head is not covered in hair. He looks a little bit more tan in skin tone. I definitely think he's one of my favorites in this lineup. And then the last guy is the blondie, which is basically just Ken, but he's like the collector version of the Ken face sculpt. And he's not bad looking. I don't really have any complaints about this one. I think he's just, a standard Ken doll, but he'd probably be the last one of the series that I would add to my collection if I was going to get all 4 of them. Not in a big rush to add this one. Personally, I would go with Ken number 1 and number 3 because I don't have a lot of those face sculpts in my collection. I think I only have the Barbie Looks version, which has a darker skin tone for Ken number 1. And for Ken number 3, I don't have that sculpt in my collection at all. Even though Ken number 2 is also good, I like the diversity variety, but unless he goes on sale, I have no real use for him because I already have the Fashionistas version, and I think they look like a very similar skin tone. The face just looks really similar to me, so I don't really have a need for him. It's not enough variance for me to want him in my collection, but that's my take on all of these dolls so far. As a bonus, I just wanted to really quickly point out that I noticed these Disney dolls that are freaking $80 whole dollars. Why? $80, okay? Yes, they are bugging at Mattel for show. Just real quick, let's just take a quick look at them. I'm not a huge Disney person. I don't really care about Disney characters that much. I have some Disney dolls in my collection, like Disney characters, but I don't like them because they're Disney characters. I just like them because I like the doll. That's kind of how I feel about this one. I've never been interested in a Tiana doll, but this particular mold that they use for her face looks so cute, and the side glance is getting me, ain't gonna lie. I think they did a great job with this one. Look at her face, she's so adorable. But just in general with these dolls, I'm seeing that there's so much detail that they put into these dolls. I like the dolls overall. Do I think they're worth $80? Of course you're gonna hear me say hell to the no. No, I do not. But they're very interesting to look at. I only say that they're not worth this price because I'm definitely not a as-is collector. Like, I'm not gonna keep my doll in these clothes with this hairstyle long term. My sticky fingers they have to take the doll apart and do my own experiment with the doll to try to make her my own. I just don't like looking at dolls that look stock to me. So that's why I always end up removing the doll from their original condition. I have dolls that I told myself I'm not going to remove from original condition, and I still end up doing it anyway. So it is what it is. Maybe it's just my own OCD. I love this little lily pad stand that they put her on. I wish that this doll came with this, but it doesn't. The stand that these dolls come with is completely different, and it's just so irritating. Maybe that would make it a little bit more worth the money to me. Overall though, I do like how pretty the doll is. I do like that they're articulated. And I am a little concerned that perhaps their feet are not standard Barbie-sized feet. Because sometimes with the Disney dolls or other characters that aren't part of the regular signature Barbie kind of dolls, sometimes their feet be huge, like a completely different size, and they're so difficult to find shoes for. So I hope that that's not the case with these dolls because they're just so pretty, and coming on articulated bodies makes it even better. I'm just so scared and concerned about the feet being monstrously large. Ariel, she's so cute. Ariel is also one of my favorite characters from Disney, and I love how they did her ponytail with these bubbles in them. It's very different than what we normally see with these characters. They just made them look so cartoony and fun. So I love the styling. They're kind of glamorous while also being very playful at the same time, so it doesn't take away from the cartoon essence of these characters. And the last one in this series is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, who is wearing a dress that looks like plates stacked on top of each other. And then look at the shoes. They're so unique. This is a really cool collection for sure. I love how the hair looks like tea being poured out of the cup. even though they have articulation, I mean, honestly, these dolls are made to be displayed as is. So I would say this is fun for people who are going to take their dolls out of the box, but just like display them the way that they came. Super fun idea. I think this is really clever. And look at her little bracelet with this like charm that looks like a teacup. That is really adorable. They did a lot of detailed work with these dolls and their outfits. So yeah, I think this is a cool collection if you're into Disney dolls. They just definitely caught my eye immediately when I saw them. And I love this face sculpt too for Belle. Like, they're just so different than what I normally see with the Disney dolls that all look so interchangeable. Yeah, what do you guys think about these Disney dolls? Do you plan to be getting them? If you do, I'm so jelly because I just can't justify spending $80 on these dolls that I feel like I'm not really going to keep as is if I get the dolls. And I feel like the fun in these dolls is to just keep them the way that they come because they're so like artistically styled. I hope that the material they use for the clothing isn't cheap material that's like papery. That would really be horrendous if they do. You never know with Mattel because they've done things like that when it comes to like the Wicked dolls. You know, some of the more collectible ones had crappy fabrics for the clothes, which is like, what are you doing? But I hope that that's not the case with these. I'm just, throwing out my paranoia out there. These are concerns that I have when I look at things like this that determine whether or not I want to spend the money on them. So I hope when people have these dolls in their collection, we'll see some good reviews where somebody is talking about the fabrics as well as the other features of the doll. So we're going to wrap this up. In the meantime, I did recently get the, what do you call that guy? The Doctor Who doll. And I haven't even opened him yet. I've had him for like probably over a week. But as a lot of you guys know already, I'm having some health issues due to effects of a mini stroke that I recently had. So my energy level is very bad. I don't know if you guys can tell, like listening to me talk here, I don't have my usual energy. Like, I find myself having a hard time articulating my thoughts. I'll say something and then I'll be like, was that the right word I was supposed to use, or did I mean to say something else? So I'm like constantly like restating statements. I can't remember the right way to say the words. Yikes. So when I have the energy to devote to the unboxing and the comparisons of the doll that I want to make for you guys, and I'll be sure to give you guys a new video showing that doll, what I think about him, do a little restyle for you so we can explore his features together. But on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. If this is your first time on the channel, I have so many other videos here for you guys to watch. A whole series talking about face sculpts like Lena over here. In addition to reviews, restyles, and other videos concerning fashion dolls, this channel is for any adult who likes fashion dolls and other kinds of dolls and just want to have a safe space on the internet where you can admire them and talk about them and learn about them. And I also have some videos on customizing techniques, so go ahead and check those videos out. Thank you to everybody who's been using my product links to add things to their collections. It really helps the channel out without it costing you anything extra. I do appreciate it so much. I'll see you guys next time. My name is Gypsy. This is Broken Dolly TV, and I hope you go have a dolly day.